Hi, I'm GANEL-LYN, and I am coming to you live from Lehi, Utah for Women of Worth Wednesday. We are so grateful for the community that has formed here on High Five Live. And I'm so grateful to be a part of Women of Worth Wednesday every week. So if you'll please post where you're watching from, it helps us connect with each other in real life. I need your prayers today. I am about to tackle a complicated subject, and I had a whole different message prepared in my mind. I had studied, I had felt prompted to share a message, and I did not sleep well last night. And then this morning, in a conversation with a friend about her beautiful 8-year-old daughter, I knew exactly why I hadn't slept and what we need to talk about today. So I asked for your prayers. Today I'm wearing my Not Today Satan shirt because he's mad that we're going to talk about this. We're going to discuss today, and I ask for your prayers in doing it, body image issues, body shaming, and the war that we have going on inside of our heads right now. I know this is not an issue that just affects women, but I'm going to say, statistically speaking, our girls, our women, our older women, I don't care what age you are, I hear from women all over the world, this is a war that we have to name to tame, and I'm mad today. In the scriptures, the word enmity is righteous anger, and that's what I'm filled with today. For those of you that have read my You Are Magnificent book, it's on the wall, the cover behind me, I have a chapter on beauty. And I share statistics that are alarming. 10,000 people a month Google, "Am I ugly?" and they post it. And then people respond in the most horrific ways to that question. That's 120,000 people a year that are Googling that question. That doesn't count the millions of us, and I include myself in that struggle inside of our hearts and our minds to feel comfortable in these bodies that are a gift from God. I have had recent conversations that propelled me today to know it was time to talk about this. I have been asked for a couple of years now to do a fireside on body image issues, to tackle this subject, but I've not been ready because, like you maybe, I have my own journey around food and my body and my self-worth. But I'm raising a daughter in 2018 who is comfortable in her own skin, and I'm fighting for her to have the space to know that her worth is not dependent on what people see on the outside. People tell her often how beautiful she is, and I always say she's beautiful on the inside. But in a recent conversation with a number of mothers, I've been heartsick about what is happening to our girls. But I'm also heartsick for the mothers and the grandmothers that I meet all over the world. Recently, I was at a speaking event, and I embraced this beautiful teenage girl. And I told her how beautiful I thought she was. I could see her light from the inside coming out. She looked at me like I was speaking a different language, and I said, "Do you not know?" She said, "No one has ever said that to me." And in recent days, I've had conversations with mothers of 8-year-old girls that feel like the only way to be beautiful is to be thinner, that they're being bullied and made fun of because they have a different shape than maybe culturally we call beautiful. I've had conversations with 85-year-old women that in their minds, they've never been beautiful. I've talked to mothers that are trying to raise teenage girls, and these girls are feeling like if they could just lose weight and be thinner, then they would have accomplished something this year. I've seen posts from young moms that are amazing, doing amazing things and are so beautiful, but have felt like they failed because they didn't finish a fitness program this year. I'm mad. I'm mad because I believe that there are so many programs out there on losing weight and eating food and taking care of our bodies. I'm not talking about all that. We're inundated with messages about body and food everywhere we turn. And if that message was the secret to being better and healthier and stronger, we would be the healthiest, strongest people on the planet, because Instagram, every magazine at the grocery store, every time I turn on the TV, there's some article about this. And what I see instead is that there's a war happening. And the guy who's on the other side doesn't even have a body. What am I talking about here? I believe Satan has decided that one of the best weapons he can point at the women and young women that are of faith and are smart and are kind is to make them feel like they're at war with their bodies and with food every single day. He's destroying the spirits and the hearts and the souls of the women that I love, because he's gotten in our heads. And today, that is stopping. I apologize for the emotion I'm having. But I think about the children of Israel. They were told to take the blood of a lamb, the first lamb, and paint it across the tops of their doors so that the destroying angel would pass them by. And I think about, what is the destroying angel that is not passing by our homes anymore? This destroying angel, we have to name to tame it. This is the adversary who will use every method of black and white thinking, of extreme thinking, to destroy God's people. He's found a way for good people that want to talk about health and caring for these temples, our bodies, and he's distorted it. He's made it okay to come into our homes, at our kitchen tables, in our cars, on our TVs, to talk about this in a way that makes our bodies and food our enemy. And I'm sick of it. Today, I want to invite all of you that are hearing me to share this video, to share a thought in a comment about what you're going to do today to fight against this destroying angel. I love that the children of Israel in faith took the blood of a lamb and put it above their doors so that the destroying angel would pass by. That lamb's blood represents our brother, Jesus Christ. There are so many programs, 12-step exercise, food programs out there. And what I've decided is missing is we've got to start having a spiritual conversation about this war. My Savior is the one that protects me from this destroying angel. Every day I go into comparison. Every time I talk to myself in a way I would never talk to you. When I look in the mirror, if I'm not rejoicing at the gift of this body, and I go into some crazy thinking, or I make a plate of food for lunch, and I go into some crazy thinking, if I go to the gym and I go into comparison and I go into some crazy thinking, I am going to start naming that destroying angel to tame him. And my Savior will be by me as I turn that hurt, comparison, and fear over to him. I don't have all the answers. If I did, I'd be sharing them. But we need to start having a different conversation, because I'm tired of the spiritual warfare and the emotional warfare that is happening in the minds of our daughters, our granddaughters, our nieces, our friends, our mothers, our grandmothers. I'm tired of seeing women beat down to the point that they have decided they are of no worth. Yeah, they're acting fine. They're showing up every day. They're getting the kids to the dentist. They're planning family home evening, and they're going to the gym. They're trying to try the next program, and they're fighting themselves every day, all day. If you feel like you have an answer, or you have found a way to come to peace with food and your body, please share it. I don't claim to have the answers. I'm just here to say to you today that I'm done. I'm done acting like we don't know what's really going on here. The guy without the body is talking about bodies all the time. And you just spend 5 minutes on social media and you'll find another account of another fitness person doing something else. I am not criticizing that. I'm not criticizing those that are trying to take care of their temples and bodies. But let's be clear. Are we really doing it in a temperate way, the way God always instructs? Or have we stepped over the line and we're doing Satan's plan, which is always the extreme? We're extreme in our thinking. We're extreme in our approach. But more than anything, the thing that breaks my heart is we're extreme in the way that we see and talk to ourselves. So my invitation to you is this. As Moses did, as he stood on the hill that day, after being with God, seeing all the creations and knowing who he was, Satan was right there, telling him, you are just a man. You are nothing. How long did it take Satan to destroy the faith-promoting experience that Moses had just had with God? You can tell there's a pause there, and I don't know how long it was, but finally Moses remembers. He remembers, remembers. Get thee hence, Satan. I am a son of God, not of man. You don't get to play in my head on this mountain with me anymore. So will you join me today? Will you join me in stopping conversations in your home that are hyper-focused on body and food? Will you join me today in having a conversation with your children that God has created every shape, size, and form in his image, not one image? Will you join me today in naming the enemy to tame him? He does not have a body, a family, or faith, and he works constantly to destroy it. Will you join me today in starting a new conversation that all bodies are gifts from God, and that food is not a weapon or our enemy? I know that it's complicated, but people of faith, we can take this conversation back. Can we come to a place, instead of war with ourselves and our bodies, can we come to a place where we're at peace? Through the blood of our Savior, the blood that was represented on the doorposts of the children of Israel, so that that destroying angel would pass them by. That same blood, that atonement, that Savior is our answer to peace. I don't know how that looks for you. I know what it looks like for me and my personal war around this issue. I know what I've shared publicly, and I know there's more to discuss. But I'm going to ask the community of High Five Life, the Women of Worth followers and supporters, to share this message. Today is a day that we get to change the conversation for our future children, grandchildren. And we, as a faith community, get to name the enemy and slay him with the sword of truth, which is truth from God found in the scriptures. I don't know another way except through my Savior. It's only through him that I do find freedom and peace and strength. It is through him that I am able to stop the chatter in my head on the days where it's loud. Thank you for being a place that is safe for this emotion. Thank you for being a community of people that are rising up to learn truth so that we can be victorious. I have great hope that this issue can be reframed. But today we need to start having a different conversation. And I hope and pray that you will join me, that our children and grandchildren will have more freedom. They will have more self-acceptance and gratitude for bodies, gratitude for food, and that the war will be won with our Savior by our side, in our homes, in our families, as we give permission to one another to look different, to feel different, and to understand that there's not one definition of beauty, and that beauty comes from inside, not out. Have you ever sat with a 90-year-old woman with wrinkles on her face and her hands, and all you can see is beauty because of the peace and the goodness and the gratitude that she lives with? I invite you today to find one of those wise angels that walk the planet. Watch someone that's lived life, that understands that smooth skin and a certain size on their dress does not decide what their worth and what their beauty is. Watch a woman that has given her life to loving and serving and see what beauty comes from her. That's the conversation I want to have with my daughter every chance I get. I want her to know that her beauty comes from a source bigger than anything else that you can find on Instagram. And my invitation and love to you today is that we will all start having this conversation. I know Satan's going to be mad. He doesn't like it when we talk truth, but he is going to lose. It is time to have a different conversation and make peace with our spirits, in our bodies, and with food. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for having this harder conversation. Thank you for being a safe space for these tears. It comes from too many conversations in just 1 week with people that are hurting. And I don't take this time with you each week lightly. And so thank you for joining and sharing this message. And we will be together next week for another conversation of Women of Worth with an amazing woman of worth. And I hope you'll join me.